Call toll-free 1-866-928-3310 and we'll send you out a no-obligation information kit absolutely free. 866-928-3310. The CFRN Emini Futures Cast is now on Stitcher. Listen to us on your iPhone, Android phones, BlackBerry, and WebOS phones. Stitcher is smart radio for your phone. Find it in your app store or at Stitcher.com. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio.
Are you ready, Steve? Andy? Yeah! Bert? Well, all right, fellas. Let's go!
You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/CFRN. Over 85,000 titles. Choose from mystery, romance, religion, science, technology, business, New York Times bestsellers, even children's books. You name it, Audible has it. With 85,000 titles to choose from, you're sure to find the perfect audiobook for yourself or to give as a gift, and it's absolutely free. Just point your browser to audibletrial.com/CFRN. That's audibletrial.com/CFRN. And become a part of the audiobook revolution by downloading your free audiobook today. audibletrial.com/CFRN.
Hey, trader, want to get rich quick? Well, good luck with that. If, on the other hand, you actually want to learn how to trade, the place to be is www.cfrn.net. Tune in Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern for our daily devotional, and then spend the next 3 hours learning how it's done from professional traders who actually trade for a living. That's www.cfrn.net. Every trading day from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things E-mini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro, and even T-bills. Joining us today from our studios in Boston, Mr. Michael Bork. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Thursday. Yes, double sevens. It's the 7th day of July, 2016. Let me...
Remember this. There is no greater return on investment than to see a huge...
What the heck was that? Oh, I know what it did. It flowed into the end. I need to put a buffer between those. Anyway, I'm usually quicker on the draw than that. So, how you doing? All right, welcome to the show. Today is Thursday. We've established that. It is the 7th day of July, 2016. Got that covered. It's a beautiful day here in Phoenix, Arizona. Somewhere between 110 and 120. Come on out. Bring your parasol. We'll go for a stroll. Comey is being grilled by Congress. Comey, do you really think he was sleeping with Hillary? I mean, that kind of gives me the creeps, but he testified that she lied, that she did evil, and if anyone else had did what she did, he would blister them off the face of the earth. But she didn't mean any harm, and so they're just going to let her off the hook. And Donald Trump, his restraint was, well, that's not fair. He's starting to sound like a president, thank God. But the day's not over, so I don't know what he's going to say today. So now Congress is taking a look at what the FBI has supposedly been taking a look at for the past year. Okay? We know that hackers got into her private email server with confidential information that she was not supposed to have on her private email server. Now, American blood was shed in Benghazi, potentially. I don't know this for a fact, because a lot of the emails got erased, but potentially because of what hackers found on her private email server. Again, I don't know for sure, because they got erased. Now, yes, there's a way to bring back things that have been erased from the dead, and I'm sure the FBI has the ability if Apple will help them out. Some of you got that, some of you didn't. Never mind. Okay. This is going to go down in history as there's never been an election in America like this before. I mean, obviously, Twitter was never the main forum of the campaign strategy in any other election, but in ways far and beyond that, this will go down in the history books as just plain bizarre. Let's look at the numbers. Maybe that will give us some comfort. Okay? Now, I gotta admit, Comey looks a little worried, but he is the director of the FBI, which means he's got dirt on me, you, and everybody else in America, and Angela Merkel, and David Cameron. And so, nobody's going to come down too hard on this guy because he's got dirt on everybody. So, Comey says, well, we did probe in an honest and competent way. But he also said if somebody else had done this, we'd have nailed them. How do you say those two things in one sentence? Unless you're sleeping with Hillary, and like I said, that just creeps me out, so I won't talk about it anymore. Because this is Christian radio anyway. Alright, let's start with the cash markets here in the good old US of A. Dow Jones Industrials are down 26 points. No big deal. NASDAQ's up 10. No big deal. S&P 500 is flat as a flitter. I don't know what a flitter is, but it's flat. Russell 2000, same flatness. Except the S&P flatness is red and the Russell flatness is green. Okay? Let's go to commodities. Crude oil, trading at 46.17, is down $1.26. That's 2.5%. Gold, trading at 13.57, is down $9.50, and that's a little over 0.5%. So no big deal there. Gold's been on a nice rally. To get days like this where we pull back $9-10, where we pull back, 0.5%, that's how you build a beautiful bull rally that can last forever, and it's not built on thin air. It's built on reality. So we're watching gold and we're watching it close. And we talked about the predictions we gave for gold 2 weeks ago in the Partners Workshop. We are now, knock on wood, we are now 5, let me count them, 5, on our trades that we gave out in the Partners Workshop on Thursday night went to partners only. We, as of last Thursday, we went 5 for 5. Now, I say that knowing that obviously is going to bring the world tumbling down, which is why I knocked on wood twice, which is double bad luck, so I'll knock again. But you know what? Trees don't grow to the sky. Sooner or later, you don't get it right, okay? And it's just when you reach the point where you think you can't get it wrong, that's when you get hurt real bad. So we're not interested in any of that. Let's keep moving. In Asia, Nikkei down 102 points. It's a little over 0.5%. Shanghai down 36 points. And the Hang Seng is actually up 211 points. That is just a little over 1%. As we turn to Europe, we've got green, green, and more green. Now, just yesterday I said Europe will probably be red forever. Well, that's how much these talking heads that you see on TV, us radio heads, we know at least half as much. So, take it all with a grain of salt. The DAX is up today, 45 points. That's 0.5%. The FTSE is up 70 points. That's over 1%. And the CAC is up 32 points, almost 1%. So Europe is green, green, green. Asia is mixed. The U.S. is mixed. Commodities are solidly in the red. And those are the numbers for the day from around the world. Now, as FBI's Comey continues to testify on Capitol Hill, we're going to go to Michael right now for a recap of everything that happened today in the live trading room. Now, we trade live every day for 2 hours, okay? We teach those in our mentoring program, once you get your $100 per contract per day, you're done. Put the mouse away, go embrace life. It's a difficult concept to wrap your brain around because the whole reason you got into trading is because you want to make a whole bunch of money. Please understand there's 2 columns. There's a 90% column and a 10% column. 90% didn't make it or haven't made it yet. Let's call it that. And 10%, man, they're smoking it. Okay? Now, trust me, you want to be in the 10% line. I've been in the 90% line. I've been in the 10% line. 10% line is definitely better than the 90% line. All right. Now, how is it that some come to be in one line and some in the other? Well, some people want to get rich quick overnight. That doesn't happen except to that family in Indianapolis who, they've never bought a lottery ticket in their life, and they stop one day and buy one, and they draw the numbers that night, and boom, they're a billionaire. Billionaires. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to build a trading business, a real business, the same way you would build an auto mechanic shop or a bakery or a law firm or a grocery store or a filling station. Some of you know what that is, some of you don't. It's where you used to put gas in your car. Anyway, you have to build all businesses on a solid foundation. Now, once you have that cornerstone in place, once you have that solid foundation started, you can do one of two things. You can fuel your growth from outside, or you can fuel your growth from inside. Now, very few businesses have the luxury of fueling their growth internally. With trading, you actually can. It takes you perhaps a little longer to get there, but you've built a house that will withstand the shifting sands of time. When you attempt to build a trading business off the backs of other people and their money, you've built a house on shifting sand. Pretty soon, people you thought were friends, people you thought were family, they're chasing you down the street because the market was up 100 points today and you lost all their money. How'd that happen? You must be a crook or a thief or worse. You don't want to go there. Trust me when I tell you, build your business one brick at a time, okay? One contract at a time. You will build a house that no howling wind, no shifting sand, no crashing waves can tear apart, because it's solid. Solid as a rock. Yep, you know that was coming. All right, enough of all that. Let's go to Michael. Let's get a recap of what happened in the live trading room today. Now, I said all that to say this. Why does, if we teach, get your goal and put the mouse away for the day, then why do we keep trading for a full 2 hours? Simple. We want you to see our trade strategy. We just have one that we use in the live trading room and a variation of it. We use that same strategy over and over and over in every market. I know some people tell you that, well, you got to learn this method for gold, and you got to learn this method for crude, and you got to buy this set of tools over here to trade the ag products. You've all heard that, okay? That's a great way to separate you and your money before you get to Wall Street. What we're looking to do is something really simple. Get in, make $100 per contract, get out. Keep doing that day after day after day until we've made enough money we can add a second contract and have a cushion. And then keep making that $100 per contract per day, except now you got 2 contracts, so you're making 200 a day instead of 100. Pretty soon you're adding a third contract. By the time you hit your 4th contract, you're grossing $2,000 a week before commissions. Now, that's not bad money. And that's within your grasp. When you hear us talk about the 24/20 blueprint, oh man, I don't want to have to wait 24 months before I can trade 20 contracts. Oh, you don't have to. You can go trade 20 contracts today if you have the money in the bank. The only problem is tomorrow, chances are you won't have the money in the bank because you don't have any idea what you're doing. But if you'll take it slow and steady, one contract at a time, allow your account to grow as your emotional capacity grows, as your discipline grows and your patience grows, then you have a real good possibility of becoming one of those who stand with us in the 10% line. You don't have to stand out in the cold with the 90%, with their nose pressed up against the glass, wishing they knew how to get in. You see, the way to get in is not complicated indicators and oscillators and 27 monitors and all these other things. How do we know that? Because we went that route. We tried all that. It was when we got rid of all the clutter and whittled it down to just a couple little things. Because you see, the market can only go up or down It can go sideways for a little bit, but for the most part, it's going up or it's going down. What did the market do right here? It went down. Then what did it do here? It went up. Okay. So if I'm short here, I make money, and if I'm long here, I make money. Okay. So do I really need the trend and the tricks, the advanced decline line? I mean, how many things do I need in order to be able to trade the market effectively? Well, I'll let you decide. After several years, lots of coding, many late nights, waking up with QWERTY imprinted on my forehead because I fell asleep at my desk, Michael and I together came to the conclusion that less really is more. Now, sometimes less is just less, but in many cases, less really is more. So Michael's going to come now. He's going to take the screens. He's going to take the mic. He's going to walk you through what we did this morning in the live trading room. I'm going to go ahead, spoiler alert, we nailed it. First trade coming out of the gate. Now see, if he had stopped right there, okay, got my goal for the day, I'm done, see you tomorrow, you'd have thought, whoa, this is your mentoring program? Whoa, this is your free trial? No, not at all. We don't want to do that to you. So that's why we continue to trade the entire 2 hours. Not because we're teaching you to, but we want you to see us execute that trade from start to finish as many times as we possibly can over 2 hours. And the fact that Michael has 5 charts up, don't let that scare you. Pretend whatever market you like to trade. Let's say you like to trade crude. Just pretend that every one of those charts is crude, okay? Because he's going to trade every market exactly the same. He's going to use the same tools. He's going to use the same time frame. He's going to use the same strategy. He's going to do nothing different on any market. So call it crude, call it corn, call it S&P. It's all the same, okay? We believe that a market is a market and a chart is a chart. We're not here to fall in love with anything. We just want to find a setup that fits our criteria. We want to dive in. We want to grab our 10 ticks for the day, or 8 ticks, 20 points, depending upon what market we're trading, okay, and be done. That's our goal, and we want that to be your goal. And if you stick around, we'll show you how simple trading can be. Don't ever, ever, ever allow anyone to tell you that trading is easy, because it's not. Trading's not easy, but it can be simple. Without any further ado, I give you none other than Michael B. Bring it on.
All right. Well, thank you for that intro. And let me hit the record button, and we'll get rolling. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is the 7th day of July, 2016. Today, in the live trading room, we lost 8 ticks on soybeans. We lost 2 ticks on the euro. We made 10 on the YM. We made 8 on crude. And we made 22 on gold. Okay, all that I think comes up to $237.50. Today it took us 6 minutes and 1 trade to get to our goal for the day. And we took a total of 14 trades today. All right, on the month now, we're up $807.50. 807.50. Yeah, 807.50. And that's over 4 trading days, averaging 201 per day. If you were to apply an $8 commission to every trade we've taken, you'd have a net profit of $279. If you were to apply a $5 commission to every trade we've taken, you would have a net profit of $477. Okay, on the year now we're at $31,686. That's over 126 trading days, and we're averaging $251 per day. 251 per day. Okay, now if you have not taken a free trial with us, just go here to the home page at cfrn.net, and in the right hand column where it says register for a free trial, put in your name, put in your email, click on register for a free trial. When you do that, you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click the confirmation link, okay? If you don't click that link, you don't get a free trial. It's as simple as that. Okay, so that is all that business. Here, I can leave it over here. I just minimize it. Now, let's get into the trades that we took today. Today on gold, we had those two trades and those two trades. All right, our first trade of the day was right here on gold. We took 10 ticks profit on that. Next trade was right over here. We missed this one in here, but the next one that we did take was right here. We took another 10 ticks profit on that. And at that point, we're at 20 ticks. We took a break-even trade right here, and then we got 2 ticks profit out of this one. You see the cycle started going down really steep right there, so we had no trade right there. Then right in here, it would have been a momentum long trade going into dynamic resistance. Okay, and the resistance didn't get broken until over here. Looks like during the break, there really wasn't anything. Might have been a bounce off the BBC right in here. It didn't go anywhere. It gave about 4 ticks, enough to get the stop to break even. Didn't put in a higher swing into here. I suppose he could have gone off of those highs and those lows. So a bounce off the BBC right there worked out. But we ended with 22 ticks on gold today. The YM. How many trades did we take in just then? Our first trade on the YM was right here. We took 10 ticks profit on that one, and we had a second trade right there. We had a break even there. We missed a trade there, missed a trade there, and missed a trade here. And then we got into the break. Let's see, during the break, not really much going on in there during the break. Not really much happening at all. Okay. We ended with plus 10 ticks on the YM. Crude oil. Crude, where's crude? There it is. Alright. We had crude inventories out today. And you see, well, our first trade on crude was right here. We made 1 tick profit on that. And then these were the levels that I had given for the inventories. I said buy above 48.34 or sell below 47.60. And you see it went way below 47.60 all the way down to 45.71, almost 200 ticks, almost. Anyway, to stay in this, you would have needed a 10 tick stop. Okay, but that was where I thought it was going to come back up here like it usually does, but it really sold off. I'll show you something about crude.
Hey, is this Chip? Hey.
When the API numbers came out yesterday,
I want to play something. I think you'll be able to hear it. Hang on.
The market really went up here, and it kept going up overnight. I'm pretty sure they were probably anticipating that the numbers, the crude inventory numbers, were going to be similar to the API numbers, but they were not even close. And so it sold off. I said look for it to sell off back to where it started, which would have been down here. And gosh, within 15 minutes it was already back down there. And it sold off way down here. Okay, I would look for some of that to come back up. I would think it'll get back up in this area right here. But we'll have to wait and see. Okay. We ended with plus 8 ticks on crude. We had a break even, 1 tick, and 7 ticks were our trades. I don't think I showed you the 7 tick one.
I found it somewhat humorous, and
here it is right here. Okay, we missed a trade there and there, and we got that one. Missed a trade there.
The agent who represents the attorney who is the real estate
And
magnate.
it just kept selling off and selling off and selling off. There's another trade there, another trade there, and another trade there.
California till the 1st of August.
Then it tried to get long in here, but it
So,
didn't.
That sounds. So that's why I was going to actually let you listen to it, but I don't want to do it if you're in a meeting right now.
Okay, Dwayne, I can be ready at 1 p.m., but he only has 45 minutes. Just got back from Colorado. I will let Dwayne know as soon as I'm done in here, okay? And Brian says, dang, Dwayne, I can't go this late into the gold, but it looks like it's going to go up enough. And he also wanted to see your soybean chart. Again, that will happen in just a minute. All right. What is this? Crude oil. Crude oil needs an up close on the current bar. That would be a long trade. Okay. And speaking of soybeans, here's our trade right here. Our one bean trade stopped us out. I missed a trade there, and I missed a trade there on the beans.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Other than that, not much happening. On the euro,
It really is. And I mean,
nothing there. Well, I missed a trade there. I got a break even on that one. Missed a trade there. On the euro, I got 4 ticks profit on that one, and 10 ticks profit on that, putting me at plus 14. And then I stopped out on the next 2 trades,
It's so odd. It could
putting
be
me at minus 2. I missed that one and that one. We didn't have a lower swing, that's why I didn't take that. That would have been a momentum short trade. And then during the break,
Yeah, it's not like we're selling $100 million.
you might have been able to take a short trade right there, but the black step line was about to cross up. Okay.
He just
So,
left a voicemail on my phone. I think what I had done.
If you have not taken a free trial with us, go to the homepage at CFRN.net in the right-hand column,
I called him
where it says
back.
register for a free trial. Put in your name, put in your email, click on register for a free trial. When you do that, you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click the confirmation link. Okay.
August 1st.
Once you do that, then we know you took the trial.
This morning and left me a voicemail
The recap.
that, you know,
The recap. We lost 8 on beans, we lost 2 on the euro, we made 10 on the YM, we made 8 on crude, and 22 on gold. Okay. On the month now, we're up 807.50, averaging $201 a day. On the year, we're up 31,686, averaging $126 a day. Now, these numbers are gross numbers, and they're with one contract, a single contract. Right here, you can see if you had added 1 contract per month, that's where you would be if you executed every trade exactly as I did. That's where you would be. Okay, again, that's a gross number, not a net. Okay. And with that, I'm going to minimize this, stop the recording, and head back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona. Phoenix, if you are ready. Oh, I didn't point out any ES trades. I'll show you the ES trades really quick.
0011.
There were a couple right in here. Okay, in the first half hour. And it was going down into the zone right there, so I wouldn't have done anything, and then it just got stuffed in this zone. So there were just a couple of ES trades, EG.
So
Okay.
432-7525. That's
All right.
your number?
Dwayne, if you are ready. Dwayne.
Okay, so
All right. Well, let's just look at some bigger time frame stuff.
okay, yeah, this is Larry Heath's number, 602.
I don't know. I think it's going to consolidate, and then
75.
maybe it'll move up, but
'Cause I'm listening to the
it just looks like
recording,
consolidation right here.
you know, very gently asking for some more. So I'll just put it in your hands, and whatever you guys work out, I'm okay. I'm okay with you, so whatever you do, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, okay.
All right?
That'll be fine. Thank you for the update. Okay.
All right, sir. Bye-bye.
Take it easy, Dwayne. Bye-bye.
You too.
All right.
I'm going to guess you were calling for me.
I was texting you just then.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah, because Ed's in here and he said he's only got a short window today.
Oh, Ed.
He said he can be ready at 1, but he's only got 45 minutes.
Well, we can just bring him on now. That's what we'll do, Ed. If you're, talk to me in the chat. Let me open the chat box. If you're ready to go right now, Ed, we'll go ahead and bring you on now. That way you're not pressured. And then what'll happen is after you're done, then I'll do the good word for the day, and then I'll do the concierge trade alerts from last night, if you're ready. So, talk to me in the chat box, baby. Mike, can we talk
Yes.
someday? What would you like to say
Yes.
to Nelly?
Yes, we can. We'll have to set something up, though, a meeting, because I know you are overseas.
Ed Corey, are you ready to come on right now?
Ed?
Up here,
He
I
must have
see
stepped away.
Ed Corey said thanks.
Yeah, because I told him I was going to tell you as soon as
Dwayne,
I
I
was
can be
done.
ready at 1, but only have 45 minutes. I just got back from Colorado. Let me know if this works. And so you told him that it works. So he's probably stepped away from his computer now until
Yeah.
1 o'clock. Okay. All
Probably.
right. Okay, so I'll keep an eye on the chat box, and let me get these screens. Are you still using the screens?
Nope, you can have 'em.
All right, let me switch them back. Okay. Well, something just went dark all over Texas. Let's try this. This. I think something went. What the heck
Okay,
happened?
well,
Never mind. Here it is. Here it is. It's not like I haven't been doing this for 5 years, or 20 years, however long I've been doing it. Okay. So we're going to crunch this up. I assume you can see my charts.
yes, now we can see them.
Okay. Oh, Tonelli. So in other words, you're saying you want to have a private conversation, or did you want to have a public conversation?
No, he wants to have a private conversation.
Oh, Tonelli's a he. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, then talk to Mike. He's better at that. I tend to just scream and shout a lot. So, no, I'm teasing. Brian says I should be long in gold. Look at that. Now, Brian, why should you be long in gold? Somebody asked me to bring up my soybean chart. Is that because
That
you
was
noticed
Brian.
I didn't have a soybean chart? But guess what I do have? Y'all ready for this? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Oh, I need him to get me some more charts. Watch this. Look at that.
That's special.
What is that? What is that? What is it?
That would be the Russell 2000.
It sure was. I got high friends in high places. So now I'll be able to give you the proper recap on the Russell the way it's supposed to be. Now somebody asked me to bring up soybeans, so I guess I can do that. Why ever you ask me, I don't know, but here I am. Now, let me see. Okay, Brian says 2 reasons. Your OTAD, and it's a 4-tick long. I don't know what you mean by it's a 4-tick long. I don't have 4-tick longs.
He's explaining it down at the bottom as he goes through. you're reading stuff that he typed in 20 minutes ago, and then he's trying to explain it now.
Dang,
think.
Dwayne, I can't go this late on gold, but it looks like it's going to go up enough without a... Okay. So you're just kind of talking to yourself. Okay, I understand. So I still don't really know what that means, but I'm sure you'll get it figured out. Come to the partners meeting tonight, and we'll help you figure it out if we can. Let's see. Brian, are you trying to use an 8-tick stop on the OTAD? Is that what you're trying to do? Because you can't do that. No, but I can because it's a CFRN long. That's not true. But anyway, because most people have no idea what you're talking about, including me, we'll just skip through that part. Okay? All right. Ed, we'll be waiting for you at the top of the hour, which is about 16 minutes from now. All right? So if I don't spot you when you hit the chat box, make my phone go jingle jingle so it'll grab my attention and I'll know you're there and we can get down to business. All right? Okay. So now what I want to do is I want to go to the good word for the day. Recap of the recap was... I guess he's already gone. Alright, we'll leave him alone. Probably had to pick up the phone. He's always on the phone. Okay. Here's what we're going to talk about today. This is not easy. Okay? This is tough stuff. Love your neighbor. And the first thing you think is, you don't know my neighbor. It doesn't matter, because you're supposed to love them anyway. Doesn't matter who they are. It doesn't matter if it's Ed Bundy. Because if we're going to hate our enemy, well, then that translates into love your neighbor. In The Fine Art of Friendship, Ted Engstrom outlines 10 ways to love others. Love is unconditional. If it's not, it's manipulation. Okay? We talked about unconditional love yesterday and how to get there. Any type of love that is unconditional expects nothing in return. But if you give love to receive something in return, then it's no longer unconditional love, it just became manipulation, which is like not good. Game show buzzer. Yeah. All right. Our natural tendency is towards self-centeredness. I know, not you, but just the rest of us, which isn't related to a healthy self-esteem. That's why it takes a conscious effort to love. Number 3, each of us is a one-of-a-kind creation. Therefore, it takes time, often a very long time, to understand one another. Do you really listen and try to understand what people are saying? Now think about this. Whether you're standing in the office, in the vestibule at church, or at a cocktail party, the guy next to you, he is talking about something that he is very passionate about. Are you listening to what he's saying, or are you concentrating on the clever thing you're going to say the second he shuts up? Yeah, I'm afraid we all know the answer to that far too intimately, don't we? Do you really listen and try to understand what people are saying? Or do you listen just so that you can give an answer and prove that you're the smartest, that you're more clever? In other words, by letting the other person talk while you mentally formulate your response. You ain't heard a word he said. But boy, he better listen to what you have to say, huh? One who loves listens with understanding. Because you see, what they're saying, even if it sounds like gibberish, it's just as important to them, unless they're drunk, and then you can discount it. But it's just as important to them as what you think you're about to say is important to you. Getting past that point in relationships really is a huge step towards learning to love our neighbor. When they open their mouth and start talking, instead of turning our ears off and engaging our brain figuring out what we're going to say next as a rebuttal, actually open our ears. Stop thinking. Listen. Believe it or not, even though he hasn't returned your lawnmower or your hedge trimmers, and the last time he borrowed your car he didn't put gas in the tank, he might not be a quote-unquote good neighbor, but you're supposed to love your neighbor. So why don't you listen to your neighbor, because he just might have something worthwhile to say. And if he doesn't, you can make that decision after he finishes saying it, not before. Am I making any sense? One who loves, truly loves, listens with understanding. Simply being there to care, whether or not you know exactly what to do. Loving your neighbor involves fulfilling in a visible way. In Hebrews 13:5, Christ promised, I will never leave you nor forsake you. Now, just because God put you in a leadership position doesn't mean he made you better than others. Paul warns the leader not to think of himself more highly than he ought to. I can't believe it. I just uttered those words this morning in the live trading room. Okay? Now, I guess it's just a coincidence, but they fit so perfectly. So if you were in the live trading room when I said that, and now you're hearing it again, Romans 12:10. Maybe we ought to all go study that today. There is another point where we see a clear difference between the leader who loves and a power holder who looks out for number one. Number 9, learn to love God with all of your heart, not just parts of your heart, all of your heart. That means with all you have. Yes, that even includes your bank account. Ooh, that's the toughest one to let go of, is them dead presidents. But don't you understand that whatever you let go of will come, whatever you willingly let go of, hilariously let go of, will come back to you multiplied? So many people go through their entire life and never learn that lesson. That is one of the saddest things that could possibly happen to a man or a woman. Romans 12:3. Be generous with your praise and encouragement. Inspiring words build up the self-esteem of others, whereas critical comments kill enthusiasm and love. Romans 12:10. Make your friends number one in honor, preferring one another. Treat others more highly than you treat yourself. Whenever we have one of those stay after church things, which I'm not too crazy about, but that's just a personal preference. A fellowship, picnic on the church grounds kind of thing. Some people rush to the head of the line. Some people hang back to the end of the line. Now, I used to be a head of the line guy. I wanted to eat and get out of there. But now I hang back and I watch and I listen. And I make sure that everybody gets everything that I need. And yes, my favorite apple pie may be gone and there may not be any more pork loin. But I have put my fellow man ahead of myself. I have put their wants, needs, and desires ahead of my own. I'm going to tell you something, friends. If you're married, if you will put the wants, needs, and desires of your spouse, man or woman, ahead of your own, you will have a successful marriage. It can't lose. That's human nature. But so often we get caught up in our own mind trip that we forget to do that. We become selfish. It's not because we're bad people. It's not because we're mean. It's not because we're evil. It's because we're human and we live in a fallen world. There's another point where we see a clear difference between the leader who loves and a power holder who looks out for number one. Learn to love God with all your heart. I know I've covered this twice, but I can't stress it enough. Not part of your heart, all of your heart. All that you are, all that you have belongs to Him. Why not surrender it to Him? Then love your neighbor as yourself. Last but not least, number 10, emphasize other people's strengths and virtues, not their sins, not their weaknesses. Why? Because you'll be needing grace and love yourself before this day is done. Remember what I said. I'm not going with the cock crows 3 times thing. I'm telling you, before the sun sets tonight, before the sun sets tonight, you will need grace and love yourself before this day is done. That which I have, I freely give. Perhaps you have gold, perhaps you have silver, perhaps you have talents, perhaps you have time. That which I have, I freely give, as Christ Jesus freely gave for me when He went to Calvary. That, my friend, is our good word for the day. Now, Ed, are you ready? Ed? Let me go look and see if he's even logged in over here. Maybe jumping the gun on this guy. Just got a text. Okay, Ed. saw you. Okay, Ed, are you ready for me to open your mic? 2 minutes. Ed needs 2 minutes. Okay, I'm going to give Ed 2 minutes. Okay. This is a 30-minute chart, okay? Now, if I set it up properly, it's this candle started at 12:30, okay? Now, this candle started at 12 noon. This candle started at 11:30, okay? So, let's put a little arrow right here. I think I'm going to go to 15-minute charts because I've changed the time. In fact, let's do that. Let's take this to a 15-minute chart. Okay. And now let's go to 11:15 right there. That's 11:15 Eastern. Okay, now let's stretch this up. Let's spread it out so we got plenty of room to figure out what we're doing here. Okay. All right. Now, I don't normally do this because they just went out. But I think BK was trying to get some message through the cosmos to me in regards to the one trade a day. So I'm going to go see if I can pick up on what he was talking about. It'll take me a second to log in because I don't normally do this, but for BK, I will. Okay. So, here we go. Rock and roll. Sign in. There we go. We signed in. All right. Now, because I have the Master Blaster, I don't have to put in the passwords. I can just go straight over to the soybeans that you asked me to pull up the chart on. And let me take a look at just what transpired. Okay. So, at 11:15, I now release the one trade a days at 11:15. So let me go to the soybean page and let me see what the heck I said about today. I said here at 11:15, I said consider being long 10:53, okay? And so if you went 10:53, you got stopped out, okay? But where did you have your stop? Okay, if you had your stop right here, how much did you lose? Didn't lose a whole lot, did you? Okay. Now, if you are going short 10:45, which is right here, okay, 10:45, right there, okay, 10:45, with a stop right here, okay, you'll make money on some trades, you'll not make money on other trades. Some trades will run $1,000 per contract. Some will run $20 per contract. That's called the truth about trading. If you think you found a key to the magical kingdom that will allow you to just show up every day and fill up your pockets with cash, we don't have that, okay? What we have is a tried and true method, which went through a 3-year public beta test before it even became a product. So were it not for the positive feedback over the 3 years, it would have never gone live as a actual product. So that's what I'm trying to explain to you here. Now, it's always important to know, let the market tell you where to put your stop. The market, if you've chosen to put your stop here, which means you're only risking from 1045, is that what it is? From 1045 to 1046.75, that's less than 2 points. Okay? Now, look at what the market's doing. It's going leg, retrace, leg, retrace, and now it's getting ready to do another leg. Okay? Now, when it does this next leg to the downside, okay, watch where it goes. Now, if you had put your stop here, things might have played out a little different for you. See, what you have to do is take into context what's happening overall in the market, okay? When you get this type of a pattern on a chart, this tells you the market's going lower. And so to trade long into a headwind, that's probably not the best thing to do. Okay? So do you see where I stop here? See how this is waffling a little bit? Leg, retrace, leg, okay? You still have to learn how to trade. You still have to learn how to read a chart. Now, as soon as I finish with Ed, I'm going to go through every one of the concierge trade alerts from last night. Every single one. The good, the bad, the ugly. We sweep nothing under the carpet. Not to mention, what you got, you didn't even pay for. You got it as a bonus. So, you see, I'm a real straight shooter. I don't candy coat anything. I tell it like it is. You've got to learn to read the chart. You've got to learn to understand what's going on in the market. So, if you took a little stop out over here, no big deal. If this thing drops down to 24, 28, wow, you did good. Okay? Get some mentoring sessions. Spend some time with me. Come to the partners meeting tonight so that I can help you understand what will put you. You're never going to be the guy that goes 10 out of 10. The best trader on planet Earth is profitable 7 out of 10 trades. Period. All right. Ed's here. Let me open your mic, Ed. We've been waiting. Your mic's open. Take it away.
Hello, Dwayne.
How are you, buddy?
I'm good. I'm a little bit scrambling because we just got home recently from vacation, and
Scrambling, man.
scrambling because my air conditioner, I thank God I got more than one, but the big one was out when we got home, so that wasn't cute.
You know, they put my big one, because we know heat rises, right? They put my big one downstairs and my small one upstairs. What were they thinking?
That's what they did with mine too, and you're down when upstairs runs all the time, right?
Yeah, I mean they're both sitting on the ground on the side of the house.
Right.
But the larger unit should be pushing air to the top, but I don't know. They're in the air conditioning business, so.
Well, I think it depends on your cubic feet downstairs versus upstairs. That's what I challenged them on it too, Dwayne. You know, I'm a mechanical engineer. I learned about this junk, and I challenged them on it, and they explained to me some off-the-road way they calculate this stuff, and it was something I'd never seen. But it works pretty good, but my upstairs unit, I mean, it runs 3 times as much as the other unit. 3 times.
My bedroom upstairs is ice cold. It really is, and I don't know why. But
It's
that's
probably
good.
the ductwork to it. It didn't have far to go with the.
No, it has nothing to do with 33 years of marriage. That's not why it's ice cold. It's just the temperature wise, it's ice cold. Oh, that was a good
Oh,
joke.
Dwayne, I wouldn't have brought that up. I promise.
All right. So you want the? I know you're pressed for time. So you want the charts real quick?
Yeah, the guy's gonna be here at 1 o'clock in my time, and that doesn't give me a
No,
lot
he
of
isn't.
time. Huh?
No, he isn't. Those
Oh
guys
yeah.
never show
he's
up on time.
actually they just called right when I was ready to jump on. They called and said we're on our way.
Oh, really?
I put them off till 1. I just said I can't let them in, even in the house.
Wow. If you have an AC man or a cable man or any kind of man that shows up on time within a window of, what was the window you were working in? Or did they give
The
you the exact
afternoon,
time?
they're so busy. They just said that we can't give you a time. We'll just come in the afternoon.
Oh.
We'll call you before we come.
Okay.
And I just got off the phone with the guy right before he got on.
All
He
right,
called.
cool.
It
You
was
got
perfect
this-
timing. He must have known about the show or something.
There you go. Hey, you got the screens. All you got to do is grab them.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Show my screen. Yes, I want to show my screen. Please close confidential windows. Yeah, that's done. Let's see. No one can see or see. Okay, Dwayne. Are we on?
Yeah, close them confidential windows because we don't want to know how much money you took from Brunei this week. So,
From where?
Brunei.
Oh, it was an interesting week, I'll tell you.
Did you see this thing with Comey yesterday? He goes, well, technically what she did was wrong. And if anybody else had done what she did, I'd blister him. But
Did he say that?
yeah, but I don't think she meant any harm. So we're just going to let it go. And so Congress snatched him up.
You
Congress
gotta
snatched
really
him
be
up
a
on Capitol Hill today, and they're giving him what for? Who do you think you are? And he's like, well, I think I'm the head of the FBI.
Yeah, he'll
Maybe
just.
not for long. Maybe not for long.
I don't know. I don't know. These people tend to last forever. I mean,
After this, I don't know. He says, I have no basis to think Clinton lied to the FBI. She lied to everybody else. She lied to Bill. She lied to... Who hasn't she lied to?
yeah. Well, first they tried to make him look like he would be real objective. Okay, that was the first PR stuff.
Mhm.
They did so that we would think he was going to be tough and really let her have it,
Oh, yeah.
and then he doesn't. So that was all premeditated stuff. You got
But for the sake of his memoirs, he did cover himself by saying what she did was wrong. And if somebody else had done it, I'd have blistered him.
That's
But
what's hilarious.
but
If
I
somebody
don't-
else had
But
done it,
I don't think he actually
he's
said
above
that.
the law.
Yeah, it's in the official statement. But I don't think she meant any harm. In other words, oh, she's just a woman. She didn't know any better. That's
Right,
kinda
but
what
now
he's
she's going to
saying.
be president.
Now she's gonna be president.
God help us. She couldn't protect the 4 people in Libya. I can't imagine her
And
protecting the
Trump,
United
God
States.
bless him. As much as he loves to tweet, he tweeted out, "That's not fair."
It isn't.
He really held himself back on that. So
Yeah.
it's not fair.
No, it's not.
The other night on Fox News, they were flashing by the flags of all the countries who ritually abuse women. I'm not talking about they don't let them drive, they don't let them go out without a burqa, they don't let them do... I'm talking about countries that absolutely brutalize women as they're less than livestock, okay?
Right?
It showed the billions, the millions upon millions of dollars that the Clintons have accepted from these countries. And Hillary is going to run on the, woman's platform.
Right,
But
exactly.
she takes money from these people who do this, I don't even know the proper words to put it on Christian radio, where they do the ritual sexual abuse of the women. I don't even know the pretty word. Jeanette, help me with the legal pretty words to put that on. Because I don't want to say anything to offend anybody.
There's a reproductive mutilation, basically. Huh?
There you go.
Something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't understand the women that don't understand that. I guess it's just not that many of them do understand it.
Jeanette just solved our engineering problem. Heat rises, so the upstairs unit needs a stronger unit to control the area. Well, wait, that's what we were saying.
That's what we're saying. We've got the weaker unit upstairs.
So why did they put the weaker one downstairs? Okay,
Jeanette.
So Jeanette was just agreeing with us. I thought she was fixing the
Yeah.
problem. Okay.
Yeah. Well, actually, I think what they did was, what they said was that you don't want to put your big unit upstairs because the upstairs unit's going to run all the time anyway. You want to put your bigger one downstairs. At least for my home, that's what they said. We have a bigger downstairs. And they said you don't want to be running the 5 tons upstairs because the upstairs unit's going to be running 3/4 of the time. That's what they said. It's less efficient.
What if it's time to punch the nuclear codes and she's doing her nails? Then what?
Oh God!
I'm sorry, women. I mean, no offense.
I really think that it's going to be a hard fought race if there is a race, and I hope there is. But I also
what do you
think
mean
that
if there is a race? Do you think it's going to be a runaway? Is that
well, there's just so many things that are we haven't had to face before, particularly with the financial system of the world. And the interlinking of all this, which is what the globalists have always wanted to do to us, because that gives them greater control.
At the last minute, do you think Paul Ryan could end up being president? Is that even legally possible?
I don't know. But I know this, I'm not going to say anything about Paul Ryan. He's fairly progressive. He's agreed with the Democrats on many things.
Has he?
But he's not. He does have some more conservative ideas and bents too. So I'm not going to put him in that camp. But he's willing to compromise to get something done. I don't know if you notice it, but the markets like it when these guys are in deadlock. The stock market goes up because they can't. They're locked up in their ability to pass sweeping legislation. That's good for the market. The market figures anything that they don't do is good for us. That's how the market trades. I mean, you look at the gridlock years, they're always the ones where the market just keeps going up.
According to Stu, Hillary intimidated the multiple women that Bill raped forcibly. I don't know if any of that's true. Stu, I'm simply repeating what you said, and if you want to provide a link that takes us to that article, I know that our guest is short on time, but I'll be happy to share those links later in the show. I know we've all heard that, but I'm looking for some actual proof, if there is any. So, and I don't doubt that he's a Svengali, that he's capable of this. He has a certain charisma about him. And not only was he, being impeached, but then they let him back in. He's going to get a 3rd term, and possibly even a 4th term. Yeah, I know they're giving his wife the title, but we know what's going on. Stu gave me a YouTube link. Stu, I found that I can't share YouTube links until I've watched them because I don't know what's on the other side of it, and I don't want to be guilty of, not that I don't trust you, I do, I just don't know what's on the other side of that YouTube link. So give me a chance to watch it, and let me vet it, as they say. All right, dude, let's get cooking, because I know you're short on time.
Okay.
You start with crude.
Been a lot to talk about. The last time I was on, Dwayne, 2 weeks ago, was the Brexit vote was taking place that day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember. And we had talked about the markets and particularly gold, and you could see how it responded to that news. And the interesting thing about gold is it was going up even while the dollar was going up. It doesn't have any trouble going up with the dollar right now, so that's kind of interesting. They try to keep the link in that if the stock market's going up, gold can't go up with it, but it even broke that bond too for a while. And now today they're in a corrective mode on it. But to me, it's holding up really well for a market that's rallied as much. But I'm gonna go ahead and start with crude oil. The chart you can see here is the daily wave count on crude oil. We finished a 5-wave move down on. We finished a 5-wave move down here at 2605, and now we've finished a 5-wave move up to here at 5167.
Okay.
So we really potentially can correct this wave, this whole wave. I would do fibs to here also, but the real ones I want to watch are right here. These are the Fibonacci numbers back to the 2605 low that we set in February. So these are big numbers, okay? Anybody who uses Fibonacci and does in concert with them the Elliott wave is going to watch these levels. This is a 236 level, this red line here. It just broke it today. They were able to hold it together here a couple times, but today they lost it, and it's coming down more like it actually should, because we should be able to find 5 waves down from the beginning of this B wave, which is 5054. So we're going to break this part of it down to see where we're at in the sequence. I think we're in wave 5 down. And let me just pull that up here. And this is it. This is that sequence down from that level. And we are in wave 5 down here. The deal here is this is much steeper of a move than this leg down, and it could well end up being a third wave if it doesn't hold in here. So that's the question. Where is this going to hold? So we'll go back to this bigger picture and say the 382 here is at $41.88. I think is with the fundamental situation we have in the oil market and the strength this has exhibited, I believe that this will be a formidable point to start looking for buy setups. But I wouldn't handle any heat on it because it could easily come down to the 50%. So I'd look for my shorter term setups down here to see if the market looks like there's any reason for it to turn from the 41.88. Between here and there, I'm going to have to just wait and see what it looks like today, because currently this looks like it's 5 waves down from where we started from here today. So when I break that down, I'll have to use a 2-minute chart. So I'm not real confident. I'm real confident in this count. What I'm not confident in is that we're going to complete the correction of this long wave in this short of time. So this could end up being a third wave from this C leg here. It could end up being a third leg because of the impulsiveness that it's showing us to the downside. That's very impulsive, and what I would look for here is to see if market could get back over certain levels on a bounce to determine whether I should look at buying it. Okay, I'm not ready to buy it yet because I personally think, they're going to shake some more length out of it. There's a long time for people to get long in this market. There was a long move up over time, and I think because of that, I have to give the market a little more time here and not be anxious, because it's the old grabbing the fallen knife thing. I don't see anything that justifies me doing that at this point. So I'm going to be patient and let this thing get clearer for me. This is a lot to drop, and if it can reverse itself, and the first hurdle back up here would be the 382 retracement, which is 46.16. That'd be the first level that I would look at, and the second level, to prove itself, it would have to get over 46.96. Now, I'm being real conservative there, making it get all the way up there before I think about buying it. So, your shorter term systems can certainly trade within these waves. I'm just not going into those at this point. I think crude oil, I was on the last time, and I had told you on the last program that gasoline almost always sells off after the 4th of July. Okay, it's a seasonal weakness. There's so much pin-up buying in anticipation of that, and there's a lull in the physical market that we see people not willing to step up and buy as much, especially if it was different. And here's the gasoline market, and you can look at it. We talked about this 2 weeks ago. A lot of times going into the 4th of July, there's plenty of buying going on, and then after the 4th is usually a seasonal weakness for gasoline. So here we are. We're right here on the 1st of July, or 151.35. We dropped this week to 135.33, so we have dropped 16 cents a gallon already after the 4th. Okay? Well, it's all done after the 4th of July, which was right here. This is the 5th. This is the next day of trading. So, which included the 4th on the computer trading. But you can see that. It's a lot of money. It's not there every year, but it's a strong tendency. And until this flush gets finished, and you can see here on gasoline, and I will watch gasoline because the gasoline is still an important driver, not heating oil yet. It'll pass the baton to heating oil a little bit before the fall. So I want to watch this when I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do with crude, and I want to watch the fib numbers coming back on gasoline, and you can see we made it through the 50% already, and as you noticed, crude is way up here, having just broken the 236. So gasoline's leading the way, and gasoline is going to lead crude. So until I see this start to turn, I'm not going to be sticking my neck out in crude to buy it. Now, I will say this. I think the low 40s are probably going to be where the value buyers and the commercials come in and cover their shorts. So I think you'll see that down there, unless there's an all-out financial collapse, which, we shouldn't bet on, even though the potential is always there. I would have to qualify that. I think, in a big margin call situation where the market's just caving in like we saw in 2008, 2009, it takes everything down with it. Really, the fundamentals kind of go out the window for a while until people can get balanced in their accounts that are on the wrong side of the market. So let me just jump to the S&P, Dwayne. We completed a 5-wave move up on the S&P. This certainly has been crazy, but it's the old Brexit thing here that came into play. This was the day session of the Brexit, and here's the next session. the evening when the votes were coming in, you can see we had this big move down in the S&P, and I know you guys saw it. You couldn't miss it. Hard to keep your eyes off of it when the market falls 120 points in a day of an S&P. You'll have to go back a ways before you'll see that. 120 points. And it came down here, and it held, the 1981 area and worked its way back up miraculously. So there's just, money has to go somewhere. The money that's invested in the different markets, be it bonds, commodities, stocks, currencies, money's always flowing for the place that's most friendly to it. And you see a lot of big movements in other markets when you flush this much money out of the stock market. So the currencies took a lot of that. The gold market, silver market, really had a boom during this time. And even after the turn, gold kept going up. And this is really interesting, because this was always an excuse for them to come in and hit the gold market and knock it down. And they absolutely couldn't do that. But there's a lot of articles that have come out, even just this week, talking about how they manipulated the gold market, how it's the biggest scam of the century. They believe it will end up being that. So many people are calling for gold to go to $3,000 to $5,000 an ounce, $10,000. I'm hearing all kinds of numbers out of people. The problem is it's almost a mindset now across the investor universe that that's going to happen. So gold's open interest, I believe, at this point is the highest it's been since it's had its record high. It's actually higher. Only we're quite a bit lower than that $1,920 record high. But the open interest by the net speculative length is showing that if you want to say the market's a bit pudgy right now, you certainly can. There's length that is in here that can be shook out. What I'm confident in, though, when we get to the gold market, is that people will be waiting to buy this when it comes back down on the gold. Now, on the S&P, I can still argue the point that this thing's going to go higher based on the recent move up off this low, because it was a very strong move. And I've got wave 5 projections at this point. If this wave 4 down here at 2064 was the low, 2065, if that was the low of wave 4, fifth wave projections are up near the record high, which is 2134. We got 2130 on the projection here. So that's still in the cards if this thing hangs around here a while, if it doesn't break right back down. And then there's even another one over that should we get over the record high. This is the point where I've been saying for months that I'm not interested in buying the stock market because of this 21. Let me put a weekly chart up so we can see it. Because we haven't been able to reach the record high at 2134 that was made in May of last year. We've had so many failures to get through it. You have to treat this as a trading range wall, basically. And until the market can perform over it, I have no business adding to length or getting bullish in here on it until it proves itself over the record high. And that's what I need to see. I need to see it prove itself over the 2134 record high by showing follow through and close over that. What's enough of a close over that? It's such a big number. The close should be over 2150, I think, to be comfortable with it, that it's just not going to be a quick pop and reversal. So I'm not anxious to play that right now. I'm still going to be cautious with it, even though, the intraday charts can support and do support, a test, pretty much the closest test we've seen, the closest we've been above that is like 2120. We've never got to the 2134, so we never have gotten above it, but that's the closest we've gotten to it. But this is projecting with good probability that will happen if this 2065 holds. And of course, if that breaks, then we're going to see the odds and the algorithms start to say the probabilities are pretty low if we follow through under this level. So we'll see. On gold, and I'm going to cover gold because it's. I really think that if you read enough about the gold market and you read enough about what they've been able to do in the gold market with their ability to push the market down every chance they can in a quiet market, and that's been going on for years. Gold should not be sitting down here at these levels. Okay, it should not be sitting down here at these levels based on all the other factors involved as far as central bank and money supplies around the world are, very aggressive at this point. I mean, they're printing so much money because they don't want to have a deflationary impact on the economy, and that's what all the banks are doing. And I think because of that, if you look at the money supply and you rate it relative to the price of gold, gold usually tracks the money supply when it's going up. Almost always, historically, it has. But it broke from that point in 2011, and it started going down, and the money supplies kept going up at a very strong rate, which is not characteristic of the market ever until now. So it makes me feel like, the wave count makes me feel like there's no reason not to think at this point that this is a major low that was put in here in December last year at 1046. And I believe that it hasn't confirmed. I'd like to at least see it blow out the 382 retracement. And I've said that in my report. To confirm this, I want to see it accelerate and close over the 1382 level, which is the 382 retracement back to the record high from this 1046 low. Okay, I want to see it get through that. It hasn't done it yet, but it got dangerously close yesterday. It got within $5 of doing that yesterday. So this move doesn't surprise me on this pullback. And let me just go to the daily chart. This is the daily chart up off the low here. We're looking to still be in wave 3 up. It may well have completed today. If there's anything that rattles in the stock markets overseas, if they continue to be hit, gold's going to just hang around in here and not give us a normal correction. But as I said earlier, there's enough length in here now that the market's frothing, and I don't want to use the thing overbought or oversold. The predominant trend right now in gold, until proven otherwise, is up. Okay, on many charts, on the daily and the weekly charts. When it breaks over that 1382 and let's say closes over $1,400, I may well double my position in it. And I did lighten up my position yesterday. And I had to do it because I just looked at it and said I got too much money too fast out of the options, and so I took some profits in a few of my accounts. And I want to show you this. I've talked about it before. I think it's something that's worth studying. I think it's very important. At some point, it'll be very important when and if there is some kind of panic out there, that you'll have to know how to protect yourself with either foreign currencies or gold. And I personally think gold's going to outperform all of them. It's showing all the signs that it would do that. And I had bought this 1300 call option here, and I bought it when the market dropped to 1208. I bought it that day when on that correction down in gold, and I got out of it yesterday at $7,300 per option, and I paid $570 for it, and I held it for 9 weeks. So just so you know what these things do, once it broke above $1,300, it was like I had a futures contract in my account without any more downside risk than I paid for it. So buying it on that dip made it easy for me because this is one of the trades I was never behind in. A lot of times when you're buying the market when it's coming down, it'll stop you out if you're doing futures because there's enough wiggle room in a down move that's really a puke down, which that was. It's hard to hold. You know, sometimes you're lucky, and I was very lucky on that to get it that day. That's not how I normally trade, but I committed to myself that I was going to start buying that and buying some options on GLD if it got down there under 1210. That was what I had told people, what did I advise. But it wasn't down there very long. But you can see the rate, this can protect you. You know, the value of the gold here is, you know, $130,000 per contract. So for the mere laying out of $570, of which I might add you're usually going to lose on, you just want to get, if you can get 40% winners on these kind of strategies, when you have the potential to get the home run, you know. I just took it off because I put something else on yesterday farther out in time because I didn't want to get caught in a downdraft, and it looked like it was, as it approached the 1382 key level, that was a level I was trading off of, and when I could count 5 waves up on it on the intraday charts and saw it turn it down yesterday, I said, well, that's enough for me. I mean, how many times can I multiply my money like that? So I took some, and I moved some options out, my other accounts, to October. But I also have options out till June of next year, just to protect myself, because if I get slammed on these options to the downside, I don't want to get out of them, and I don't want them to expire on me. This one I played tight, and I do that. I use tight and I use out. So if let's say I took a big loss and didn't want to even buy them anymore, I'm still stuck with those outer month options. And that's for me, because I won't need to worry about getting back in a panic rage. I've still got my coverage out to June of next year. That's what I wanted to have. Okay, I wanted that, and that's the way I trade. When I see things on the short term that would make me comfortable buying a futures contract, that also makes me really comfortable buying close in, near the money call options, and that's what I do. But if you can learn this thing, it gives you an alternative way in a panic not to risk your whole wad on gold or silver. They're so volatile, you don't really want to do that. But if you can put up $1,000 or $2,000 or $500 on something and have coverage of $130,000 of gold, hey, that's the kind of thing that's safe. That if there ever was that kind of breakaway move that many people believe is going to happen, many smart people, many not so smart people believe it's going to happen, which is why the market's prone to a shakeout right now. But I'm not betting to the downside. No way. I'm still keeping my length on, only in outer months of options. So I don't know if that helps anybody, but I'll give you one other tip here. If you want to know what would happen, like here's the $1,300 call option on August gold. Right now it's theoretical value of $6,310. If you want to know what would happen to it if prices went up another $100, the $6,300 would go up to where the $1,200 option is. So if gold goes up $100 and you want to get an idea of how much money you would have, this probably isn't a good thing because it expires in 19 days, but I'm just making the point. It'll be worth $16,000. So it's pretty much that way.
Yeah.
You know, it would be pretty
Right.
much that way, assuming you still have the same amount of time on it, which you wouldn't have. But if we went to the September, October options, this is a way of measuring, well, what is this thing really going to do for me? Will it protect me? And it's just like holding $130,000 worth of gold. You're going to go dollar for dollar once you get above the strike price. So it's $1,364 here in October. I actually bought, I bought out in October over 1,400 and 1,450s yesterday.
Yeah.
when I got out of this front stuff that I had in this account and in my futures accounts and in my um, stock accounts. I only trade GLD because it's the most liquid with the
Right.
options. There's hundreds on the bid and ask in almost any
trade
part
it.
of it.
You trade it, but it's not an investment, correct?
Right, right. But I look at it within the overall portfolio that I have, my exposure to dollars and everything else. But I also do use it speculatively too, Dwayne, when everything looks right. When everything looks right, uptight, close, I'll put on some really big positions in options. And I'm comfortable with it because I want to be able to sleep at night, not keep staying up
Have you ever read their prospectus?
on the GLDs.
Uh-huh.
I have read parts of it, and I know that it's not a bulletproof thing at all.
Have you read the part that says they do not have to own any gold? Have you read that part?
Right. Any gold in the vault. I've read parts of that. Yes.
Yeah.
But when I look at the gold options, let's see.
I'm just saying, and because this has been a conversation.
It's
on this
dangerous.
show
Yeah,
a
I
number of
wouldn't
times.
count on it in a pinch.
I would trade it in a day. I might trade it overnight, but if I was trying to store up wealth for my children or my grandchildren, get out of here. I mean, it says right in the prospectus, we'll take your money. You can pretend you have some gold. We might buy some gold. We might not buy some gold. Chances are we'll buy a little bit of gold, but ain't no way in heck we're ever going to buy enough gold to cover all the outstanding shares of GLD. It ain't going to happen.
Right. Well, if you want to be safe with it, there's other vehicles like SGOL is a Swiss Gold Trust, and it has to have 95% from what their prospectus says of the gold that's outstanding in the vault. And it gets audited in Switzerland.
You can also
but it's still a bank.
You can also go down to a coin shop and own 100% of your.
Exactly.
That's the other
Exactly.
option.
I agree with you.
Yeah. In fact, I'm
I
gonna have that fellow on the show. He was real big in the world of silver for a very long time. He's been very open with his story on Facebook. I'm trying to think of his name. Jason Homel, who owns a couple of coin shops. He has one. His mom has one. But he is a go-to guy when it comes to silver. He got clean and sober about a year ago, and he was very vocal about it. And his life has really changed. But he's still in the business, and he still believes in silver. And I think now just might be a real good time, a very attractive time for people to start taking a look at not SLV, but physical silver. I honestly
physical silver and the junior miners in there. There's some stocks. One of the stocks that I have is Silver Wheaton, SLW, and I don't have the stock. I have options in it.
Yeah, I had I had $500,000 in a junior miner, and when the board of the directors died, it went bankrupt literally overnight.
Yeah, you can get hurt
because no one had faith in the mine as much as they did in the head of the board of directors.
Well, you know,
everybody believed in him. He was one of the Phoenix mythical 40, they call them. 40 of the most powerful guys in Phoenix, and they all swear they don't exist. I don't know who they chose to replace him when he passed at the Phoenix Country Club. But anyway, he passed, and You know, it's interesting. I sat with him at a coffee shop here by my house. He and I were good friends. He went to Africa with me many times.
Oh,
I said, you know, man, I'm gonna sell all my shares, pay off my house, and pay off my church, you know, and then I just won't ever have to worry about those. And he said, no, man. He goes, we got a couple things that are getting ready to happen in the next couple weeks, and he said, rather than sell your shares, scrape together whatever you can, go shake the couch, and get ready, because in 2 weeks, it's gonna blow up. In 2 weeks, he got thrown off the treadmill, his head got split open, and he never woke up. And
Oh, wow.
he wrote a zero before I could even get to my terminal. So,
oh, wow.
yeah,
Not cute. Mm.
$500,000. Pretty nice little retirement, but anyway, life goes on, bro.
Well, that makes you remember a few things. Well, it would make you leery. Silver's more volatile than gold, and silver looks different than gold on the charts, but it still
Next
has
time
more
around,
upside
I'm gonna
potential.
hold it in my hand. Trust me.
I think that's a good idea, Dwayne. I mean, I think that's something that everybody ought to think about. Okay, I think that's the right thing to do, especially if you don't have any. You want to be looking over the
Bring up a
long
chart
term and
real
find
quick.
the
If you're
dips.
done with gold, bring up a chart of silver real quick.
Okay.
But if you're not done with gold, go ahead and finish.
No, I am done with gold.
Okay.
I'll say this on the silver market. See, if you look at the silver market and you compare it to the gold wave count, this came off way too much to be counted as a completed ABC down.
Mm-hmm.
Where this is the monthly chart on silver. Here's a monthly chart on gold. See, it's still in a 5-wave move up, and it's entering wave 5, which should be really impulsive to the upside. The good part about silver is it has fallen so far that just even a 382 retracement is going to cause the thing to more than double.
Right.
So
And-
on a
and here's
percentage
another
basis,
thing. The margins on silver, if you're not holding it physically, but if you want to go silver futures, they are the highest margins literally on the planet. I'm going to bring it
Yeah.
up for a minute. Let's
Right.
go to help. Let's go to contract margins. And let me drag this over. Oh, nobody else can see it, but that's okay. I'll bring it up and I'll tell you what the numbers are. Let's go to metals, and then let's go down to what do I want? Silver. I want SIL. Correct? Yeah.
yes, whatever. I don't know what the DT Pro thing is. Mine's different on CQG.
Wow. Wait a minute. Oh.
It's GSI, I think, on DT Pro. GSI.
GSI. That's what I thought it, but I don't. Oh yeah, GSI. Here we go. Margins are. It's 100%. There is no day margin. $5,280.
Yeah. Well, you saw the notices from DT Pro on the Brexit thing. Didn't they even take that? They did that with all of them.
Yeah, but they've gone back now.
They
They've
at the
all gone
time
back.
you're going to see the max volatility and want to play the game. They really,
Mhm.
if you didn't have a lot of money in your account, they limited your ability to really take advantage of that
They
stuff.
clamped down. They sure did. I never.
But they
really,
did that just to avoid risk. That's actually, for our sake, a safety factor that they have to keep things liquid in their own.
I never really looked at
Dumping.
this Emini silver before, or the 1,000-ounce silver. I'm going to assume that those have a big spread, and that there's not a lot of volatility or volume.
Yeah, I think you get more bang for your buck doing the big contract if you can afford it.
Yeah, I think so.
I've never looked at them. I looked at them once to see what they were, but thought about
There's
letting my kid trade
there's a
them.
mini silver over at ICE. The symbol's YI, and they'll let you play for 560 intraday,
Mm-hmm.
1120 overnight. So, anyway,
A silver can streak, as you know, and I think
let me ask you a theory.
the silver Wheaton stock that I mentioned that I'm holding options on, you can buy options out to 2018. So you can
let
get
me ask
yourself
you-
a position on there and hang on if you think this is really turned. That is a royalty. They're mainly a royalty company that leases out their mineral rights to producing companies to produce the silver. And it takes a lot of the operating expense and managerial decisions out of the way and becomes like a check in the mail for the company. They make a ton of money. They have all the upside, but not a lot of the downside that you have in a company that can go broke in low prices. So, but their stock swings wildly, yes it does, and certainly silver made a really good move recently. It caught my eye. What did I do here?
Now,
What did I do here, Dwayne? Was
Oh,
that me?
no, I just grabbed the charts. I thought you were kind of done. Did you
That's
still
good.
have some?
I was just gonna show one more time, but I don't need to.
Okay.
I was gonna. If you have any questions,
I might be able to bring it up over here. Now, back to that soybean issue that we were discussing earlier. The one trade a day said to be short 1044, and we've already dropped to 1030. So that's a 14-cent drop times $50 per penny. So what does that work out to? 14 times 50. So that's $700 per contract. Okay,
with almost no heat.
with virtually no heat. Yeah. So anyway,
That's a good call.
we do these over and over, day after day. But the problem is a lot of people it's new to them, and I've got to put together. I'm going to actually put together a course, a video course that people can study, and then I'm going to sell it for a lot of money, and then they'll probably name some kind of indicator after me, and then I'll retire. I don't know.
That'd be nice. That'd be
Yeah.
nice.
There-
You
oh,
probably
one other
would
thing
never
I-
retire, Dwayne. I think
One
this
other
is.
thing I'm going to ask you, because you might actually know. Now, this is all hypothetical, okay?
Uh-huh.
Now, remember, this is hypothetical.
Gotcha.
If there were a hypothetical man who had some hypothetical money in a hypothetical bank, and he wanted to hypothetically make that money hypothetically vanish, what route would he hypothetically take?
Okay. I'm not sure I'm good to answer that question. Really. Yeah, I mean, you could bet it on a futures contract the wrong way, and that'd vanish.
We do, number one, we do not. This hypothetical person does not want to break any laws whatsoever.
Right. Well, if it's in the way you want the money to vanish. If you really want it to vanish, you can just go short in a massive uptrend, and it'll vanish in a few days.
Well, he'd probably rather not do it that way.
But if you wanted to, I'm not qualified to say because I don't really know. I do believe, there's a lot of people that put money offshore, and I
He could legally buy
don't
a
know
company
enough about
offshore,
it.
Huh? He could do that. He could legally buy a company offshore.
Yeah, right. You could buy real estate offshore.
You could buy real estate. You could buy what's called a shelf company, which is a company that all the paperwork's there. It's been sitting on the shelf for 8-10 years. It's never produced anything. It's never created anything. It's just been incorporated and seal created, and it's been put up on the shelf and it's been aged. So you buy an 8-year-old shelf corporation. What have you bought? You bought a shell company. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing illegal with that. You can now take that shell company and you can do all kinds of things. You could use it to buy real estate. You could use it to create an import-export business. Or you could just let it stay on the shelf. Let us not forget that Google and Apple keep all of their money offshore. Although I think one of them, maybe Apple, said they were going to change their ways and bring their money home. Did I get that right?
I haven't heard that.
One of the two of
I haven't
them,
heard
I
that.
do believe, said they were going to come clean and bring their money home. So I think that's a very patriotic thing to do.
It is. What I would ask them is, what percentage of it are you going to bring home?
Yeah, that's a good question too. And see,
But-
their shell companies are in Ireland, but their actual bank accounts are in another country.
Uh-huh.
So it gets.
Well, you're more adept at that than
It takes
me,
an
my
army of IRS agents to even begin to, and the fact is that Google and Apple both can hire such top-notch attorneys and accountants that the IRS almost don't even want to waste their time trying
Right.
to unravel it, because they already know that these guys have, dotted all the I's, crossed all the T's, and
Right.
while many of us may feel that it's morally wrong, it's not legally wrong. It's
Right.
illegal. It's illegal to evade taxes,
Right.
but it is not illegal to avoid taxes.
Well, even if
World
you
of
have a
difference.
if you have a shell company, Dwayne, and you make some money in that, and you're part owner of it, I think. I don't
okay.
know if they could set it up where you don't have any tax liability in the U.S. because wherever you earn your money, if you're a citizen, they're going to want a piece of it. So, there's trusts and all kinds of things supposedly you can set up, but I haven't gone that route.
Can I ask you a question without hurting your feelings? Tom
Yeah.
Wants to know, Dwayne, with this nonsense as you preach, look at the charts. Why do you bring such nonsense traders on your program? Now, before you answer, let me say that you, my friend Ed, are one of the most highly respected traders that I have ever brought on this program. And every day people go, is it Ed Day? Is it Ed Day? And I go, no, it's every other Thursday. So, Tom, welcome to the show. How would you like to respond to that? Let me give you all of what he. Let me give you all of what he. Oh my God, he unloaded on you big time. I am looking at your 3 to 4 correction wave in June, from the bottom of the 4th wave to the 5th wave. Were there 5 waves in that move? You don't feel obligated to answer any of this nonsense.
I don't know what
Impulse
which-
waves must evolve into 5 waves, right? Does the correction wave cannot violate the 4th wave, or good stuff? I ask your guest, how did you trade what you present? Fair question.
Well, it's such a broad question. I mean, if you want specifics, I'd have to get the charts back to talk to.
What I see
But
is
I'm out of time.
buy-sell cycles on a higher time frame chart that develop into trends on lower time frame charts that are high probability trades. Forget the Elliott wave nonsense. How is Robert Prechter doing today? Well, how many of your subscribers can follow that? Leaps. Dwayne, you are heading off course with this guy. Nonsense. What are you doing? Tom, what I'm asking you to do is, if you would like to participate in our daily radio program, to behave like a gentleman.
Well, I would say this.
Because otherwise I'll hit the eject button.
I don't do the Elliott wave the same way Robert Prechter does at all. Okay? I don't even follow what he says.
Me
Because
either.
I don't have a method to do what he's doing. I've seen how bad the misses are. And when you stick your neck out, you're going to make mistakes.
Well,
There's no
Tom,
perfect
Maria,
system.
They all pitch in. Man, this guy's awesome. So, Tom,
No, the only thing I'm going
I
to
think
say
we're
is
just going to permanently block you from the show. I think that's.
I
gonna
would
be
say
in
this,
your
Tim.
best-
I mean,
it's going to keep your blood pressure lower, and it's not going to waste our time. So, after today, Tom. Bye bye.
well, one point is to what he said, Dwayne, that I would say
Mm-hmm.
that using the higher time frames with the Elliott wave and other methods, and I do use other methods with this, it does improve your odds of making money, very much so. And I'm very cognizant of where the monthly and the quarterly, semi-annual charts are. I do keep my eye on that. I don't spend a lot of time on that with you because we're more short-term oriented here. But I just wanted to give the picture of the bigger trends. And if you go back and listen to what I said, the Brexit, I would say this. Go back and look at what I said 2 weeks ago and look at what happened. Just go do that. Listen to it. That's my answer. Okay? See what happened the day I was on and what happened the pursuing last 2 weeks.
Dwayne, while we are unloading on you, Eugene, are you unloading on me? I must have missed that. Why can't you persuade Ed to let us subscribe to his newsletter? Because Ed doesn't want to let you subscribe to his newsletter.
Yeah, I'm limiting my circulation on that stuff, and I have to legally without getting into a lot of licensing things with the CFTC, which I choose not to do. I don't need to do that. Pardon me?
Isn't the number still 20?
15.
Oh, they lowered it to 15? I thought it was 20. Okay.
Yeah, it's 15. At least it was. I use 15, but I don't even go to that many because what happens is I just have a few people that I advise at one time. I'm talking about usually less than 6, 5 to 6. And they are so intense in their positions that I really can't answer and service them when they call for clarification, want to know what they should do with this going on and that going on. And, some of them manage billions of dollars. So it's like I have to choose between them and having a big mass group of followers. And I don't really I want to be able to do as good a job as I can for the people that pay me. So
what we could do
it's hard for me to do that and advise these guys, especially when things get hairy like they are now, that it gets really to be a challenge for me, and it makes me busier than I want to be. So
Seeking Alpha has been pursuing me for the past week to go back to writing on a regular basis for them. I used to years ago, and then I stopped because I got busy with other things. But this time they're making it like really.
Hey, hold on a second.
They're making it.
Wait, hang on a second,
All
honey.
right.
Just let him in. Okay. All right. Thanks. Okay. Hey, Dwayne.
Fix him some iced tea. So anyway, they really want to make it financially worthwhile this time. If I'll make a firm commitment.
If we'll write a piece on it, I'll keep me posted on that.
So here's the thing: is you could consider writing a column for CFRN, the Ed column for CFRN, where you're not giving specific, individualized advice that would come under your cap of 15, but where you're doing what I do, and that's simply speaking generalized ideas to the masses. There's two completely different things. Now, it does take up a significant amount of time, and if it were not for the amount of money that Seeking Alpha is dangling in front of me, I wouldn't even consider it, because I really need to figure out how to spend more time with my family as it is now, and I certainly cannot. I can't. I've made a commitment to all the followers we have, all the partners, all the members, all the clients here at CFRN. I absolutely cannot, slight them in any way to create more hours in the day to write for Seeking Alpha. But we'll see. We'll see what shakes out of it.
Well, hey, look, I can if you want to just chat about that, I can another time. My AC
right,
guys here waiting
All
on
right,
me,
man.
so
God bless you,
I'm
brother.
gonna jump, and
Sure.
we can talk though. Dwayne, just call me anytime. We'll talk
All
about
right, man. I look
it.
forward
If you
to
want
it.
to just talk about it.
I do.
Okay, take
All
care.
right. Take care.
Okay,
God
thanks
bless.
for everything.
All right, man.
Bye.
Good man. Okay. He's Ed. He's the man. And now we're going to get rocking and rolling, and we are going to finish. Tom, I'm just going to say no, 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 and no. Okay. That should cover everything. Okay. All right. Let's go to the S&P 500. Last night, our paying clients were told to do one of two things: buy 2096 or sell 2082. And if the opportunity presented and they wanted to, they could actually do both. Huh. Imagine that. Now the alert went out at 9 p.m., so that would be 2100 hours. Okay, that's what this vertical line's all about. If they bought 2096, here's what that would look like. 2096. They bought the old 2096. Yep. Buy 2096. Okay. So if they did that, in a timely fashion, they would have reaped early on 2 points, and, well, 2 points is our goal for the day. Period. No matter how many markets or contracts you trade. But we also know that important prices in important areas are almost always tested. So what does price do? It comes back down, comes back up through 2096. This time it hits 2102. And so 2096 to 2102, that would be 6 S&P points. That would be $300 per contract. And if you got $5,000 in your account plus a little extra spare change rattling around, then you have the ability to trade 10 contracts if you've earned the right to trade 10 contracts. And so that move could be a $3,000 move. Maybe you don't get it all. Maybe you only catch 2,000 of it. That's okay. Do that 5 days a week. That's a pretty handsome income. Now, we also said that one could consider selling 2082. We've not reached 2082 yet. However, because the concierge trade alerts stand for 24 hours until the next set comes out, we may see that trigger here very shortly. And we'll pop back in a moment and take a look at it. We're going to jump over to the Dow. We're going to plant this baby at 2100. I gotta figure out why my new platform doesn't have some of the bells and whistles in my old one. I'll figure it out. 2100. Okay. On the Dow, we said, why don't you think about buying 17,845? So if you did that, if you bought 17,845, obviously you would in most cases be given more than one chance to do it. Why? Because important prices and important areas are almost always tested. So the first move took us up to 875. I better just write these down as we go. Buy 17,845. 17,845. Okay. Up to so 45 to 75, that would be 30 points. How many do you need if you're trading the 2420 blueprint? If you're building your business up to the size where you're comfortable trading 20 contracts, financially, emotionally, all of those things, well, then if you get your, not 30 points, but you just get your 20 points, that's $100 per contract per day. And so that's $2,000 a day before commissions. That's just on this little move right here. Although it did go another 10 points beyond the 20 that you need. Need I say more? Okay. And then we take a run up to 17,895. So from 845 to 895, I guess that would be 50. So that would be $1,000 per contract. Okay. From here to here, in 30 minutes, from 17,845 to a swing high at 17,895, that's 50 points. No, I'm so sorry. At 50 points times $5 per point, it's $250. That's a lot different than 1,000. Here, let me write it out. Times sometimes I get carried away. Equals 250. There we go. Alrighty. Okay. Now we're on track. Okay, on the short side, we're looking to sell 17,780. There it is in black and white. Sell 17,780. Okay. Can we do that? We can. We could come right over here and sell 17,780. And the swing low is is 31. So 80 to 30 is 50. So that's going to be 49. 49 times $5 per point. So basically that gives you another $250 so far. This probably isn't done yet. Okay. Alright, moving right along. I want to get this done quick as we can. Moving right along. Gold. Let's drop our number at 2100. Stretch it up. Boy, I gotta fix that. 2100. Okay. And on 2100 it said gold GGCQ sell 1366. Okay. So if we come over here and we sell 1366 per the instructions, sell 1366. Okie doke. Now, important prices, important areas are what? Almost always tested. So here's our first drop. Now our first drop takes us down to 6180, so let's round that up to 62. So we'll just call that $400 per contract available. Okay, that's the first little move down. Okay. And then this time, after we get back above the trigger and do the dance again, this time we get down to a swing low of 1361.50. So let's just round that up to 62, and we'll call that 400 as well. That's what the market made available. Now, because none of us are Karnak, and because we all trade with a trailing stop, what happens is, on a $400 move, you trail your stop. Hey, and even if you only take out half of that, 200 per contract, and that's a nice payday. Then we get back above the trigger, down we go again. Okay, so from 1366, this time we get all the way down to 1352. So that would be $1,400 $1,400 per contract available. Okay, $1,400 per contract available. That's what this move was. Now, important prices, important areas, almost always tested. Okay, we saw it here, we saw it here, we almost saw it again here. Now, when that up pressure starts to run out, and it becomes possible that you might not make it all the way back to the trigger. Is it possible to trade it like this? Absolutely. That's a lesson I pray you never forget. Okay? And then yesterday on gold, this was yesterday. We already covered all of that yesterday. And now we've covered today. And now we're going to move on to the next market, which is bonds. Okay. Bonds. Drop anchor at 2100. That's it. Okay. All right. Now, this one looks a little tougher, but we'll see. Bonds. Bonds are always a tricky one, but we'll see what we got. Buy 176.22, or given the chance, sell 176.05. Well, let me move this up out of the way. Let me bring this down. If we were going to sell 176.05, then that would put us right about here, or right about straight line. Let's try that. 176.05. Okay. So now, the idea on bonds. What the heck did I do? Here we go. Bonds. Sell 176.05. Buy 176.22. Now 176.22 is way up here. How far up is it? It's right there. Swing high 176.22. So there is a very good possibility that you might have been stopped out. Now I could have just glossed right over that, okay? But getting stopped out is a part of trading. There's no getting around it. There's no avoiding it, okay? Now, all right, on this first move down, we take it to, well, here, let me write in bonds, sell 176.05, sell 176.05,
returning visitor.
So 176.05. Okay. So on this first move down, we got to 175.29. Okay. If you follow the horizontal line on the cursor. Now, there's 32 ticks to a point. 1 point is $1,000. So from 29 to 32, that would be 3 points. Okay. Plus 5 points, that would be 8 ticks. Alright? So what we have here is we have 8 ticks. At 31.25 per tick. That's the first opportunity. All right. Now, here we have 175.09. Yes, it's a true story. Had this dropped down to 175.05, that would be a $1,000 per contract move, but it didn't. It dropped to 175.08. So 32 minus 3 going to be 29. All right. So it's going to be 29 times 31.25 available. Okay, that's what the market made available. All you had to do was sit there and wait. Now, we don't get out of the exact swing high or low. Close of the screen candle, probably a pretty good idea to step aside. Okay, you still got all this at 31.25 per tick. Okay, so bonds were a beautiful thing. You know, they did crude inventories today, and they did them at an odd time because of the holiday. They do crude. Let me look at my little investing calendar. I think they came out at 11 o'clock. I'm just going to make sure for your benefit, because I'm pretty sure they came out. Let's take a look. This is the economic calendar I use because it is a global economic calendar. You'll see economic reports from places you might never have even heard of. So, crude oil inventories, yep, 11 a.m. today. Okay, I bring that up, and that is important because we don't trade news. So at 11 o'clock, which is here, all right, our hands are off the ball, okay? We're not going to take credit for any of this. In fact, we're going to let this thing go. Okay, there, that's 11 o'clock. That's 30 minutes. 30 minutes is typically plenty of time for inventory numbers to settle out, but we'll give it another 30 minutes just to be cool. And we'll pick back up right here. So we've given crude inventories a full hour. Some people only give them 15 minutes to quote unquote get back to normal, but we'll go ahead and give it an hour. Okay, so 2100. Man, I gotta get this fixed. 2100. Okay, let's move it over. 2100. All right. So here's what we were looking to do with crude oil today. This is our best idea, our best projection. Often it's very difficult on an inventory day to hammer out a good number, but we suggested buying 48.05. Okay, now remember the vertical line, this is where the alerts came out. What did I just do? Here we go. Alright, This is when the alert came out last night. And the alert said, if you can, if you're given the shot, by 4805, is that what it said? I do believe it said 4805. GCLQ, yeah, by 4805. Okay. So, not a lot in this, but hey, that's the way the cookie crumbles. We've had plenty of very nice opportunities today, so we won't complain about the opportunities missed. 4805, that's 4806, that's 4805. Come on now. Really? Gotta be a 5 in there somewhere. 4805. Alright. You know, obviously we don't have much here. 4805 goes up to 48. That's 9 ticks, right? How many do we need if we're trading the 2420 blueprint? If we're just slowly taking 2 years out of our life to build a rock solid business with a solid foundation, one floor at a time, one contract at a time, we need 10. True story. So price gets back below, up we come again. This time we make it up to 48.25, so that would be 26. Okay. All right. Then we got to leave it alone because the crude inventories came out here at 11, and our short side on crude was GCLQ sell 47.50. Now 47.50 was right here. So had one sold 47.50, and again we don't recommend selling news from 47.50 to 46.50 would be $1,000 per contract. To 45.50 would be $2,000 per contract. So some people are saying, silly you should be trading your numbers. But over the years we've learned that it's just not worth it. It's more like a weekend in Vegas. It's a gamble, okay? And you can get whipsawed out of long and short positions. You can put your long entry way out here, and you can put your short entry way out here, and you can get whipped snapped on both of them and be left holding. You don't even have a pot to throw out the window you don't have. Okay. Now here's the radio trade that I gave out yesterday, right as we were closing up the show. Consider being long 47.80 to 47.95. Swing high of this candle exactly 47.95. So to all of you who had the foresight to take advantage of that, congratulations. We've been doing those radio trades off and on as I remember them for many years now. We've had many good results, and you know, me giving you a good trade takes nothing away from me. It's kind of like the old story of how the light of one candle can light the light of 1,000 candles, but yet it never diminishes the light of the original candle. Think about that sometime. Or you could think about it now if you want. Okay. Soybeans. I was chastised heavily for making money in beans today. But let's see what our concierge trade alerts say. Let's go find those bad boys. Oh, first let's drop our little doohickey over here at 2100 hours. Okay. Now, concierge trade alert. ZSX6 by 1088. Okay, that didn't happen. Sell 1080. That did happen. Okay. And so right here, if you sell 1080, you don't get a second bite at the apple here. You get one turn and one turn only. Okay? So, at the beginning of this half hour, you got the alert to get short 1080 and 1080. You know, it took you ultimately, well, initially it took you down to 1051. That's 30 points. And then we had a pullback because that's how markets work. Leg, retrace, leg. And we finally put in a swing low down at 1023. So just rounded up to 1030. And if you sell 1080, what you end up with is, so far, 50 points. Times $50 per point per contract. Okay? Now, something I want you to remember. When these trades trigger, day sessions are in session. Okay? When you got short here, you don't have to worry about the overnight. As long as you didn't hold from here, as long as you didn't hold from here to here, when you entered here, guess what? It's a beautiful thing. Day session rates and an opportunity. 15 points times $50 per pointy. How about per point per contract? It's $2,500 per contract. I'll do the math for you. I wiped out the T in point. Okay. All right. I think we've covered the ES. That was beautiful. What was the short side? I don't think we got there yet, did we? No. 2082. We're close. We're very close. So going into the close today, watch this. If we take out 2082, guys, real good shot to see a potential 10-point trade. Line in the sand, 2082. We'll keep getting closer and closer and closer. Okay, so keep an eye on that. The long side we did fine. Okay, on the Dow, We had a 30-point move to the upside. We had a 50-point move to the upside. That should be a dollar sign and not a pound sign. Okay. And then on the way back down, 49 points times $5 per point. If that's where we calculated it correctly, from 780 down to 726. Yeah, close enough. Give or take. We always, when I say average up, average down, I always do it on the conservative side. Okay? You won't catch me running it the other way. Unless I do it by accident, and then if you correct me, I'll fix it. So on gold, we were looking to sell 1366. We had a $400 per contract move. Back above the trigger, important prices, important areas, almost always tested. $400 available. Back above the trigger. $1,400 per contract available. Okay. Bonds. 8 ticks available at $31.25 a tick. 29 ticks available at $31.25 per tick. Okay, that's 3 ticks shy of $1,000 per contract. Let's just put that in for dramatic effect. 3 ticks shy of 1K per contract. Three ticks shy. Let's split those S's. 3 ticks shy of $1,000 per contract. So yay bonds. All right. And we may getting ready to see a little more downside action. Okay. Crude oil. We just covered that, so we won't rehash that. Soybeans, we just covered that. We're talking $2,500 per point per contract. That's what the market made available. Now, you might have said, hey, I've got my 2 points for the day. I've made my $100 per contract. I'm building my business. I have a 2-year plan to build my business, to become a 20 contract trader so that I can gross $10,000 a week before my commissions and any other expenses. See, if that's your goal, you're done way up here. You're not worried about this and this and this. You're done here. You're out embracing life while other people are still sitting staring at the screens. Okay? Those of you from the Partners Workshop will remember this, and we are still we're still climbing. Okay? Alright, NQ. That's the one we haven't done today. 2100. That's it. 2100. I got it the first time. Okay. Now, doesn't look like we got a lot of movement out of the NASDAQ last night, but let's see exactly what we were looking for. NASDAQ, buy 43, sell 31. Look at that one more time. Buy 43, sell 31. Okay. So if you buy 44, 43. $44, $43, right there. Okay, so your first move up took you to, let me write this down, 544.33. 544.33. Okay. About 544.33. Okay, swing high. What do you got? What do you got? 52 from 44.33. 44. Wait, is it 43 or 33? It's 43. 44. 43. Okay. That makes more sense. From 44.43 to the swing high, which is 52.50. That's 9.5 points. Okay. The NASDAQ pays $20 per point. So how many points do you need? You need 5. This little move here gave you 9.5. Okay. Now the next move went up to 61.25. So prestidigitation, I'm going to say 61 minus 43 equals 18. All right. And 18 times 20 is 360. $360 per contract available. All right. So we're done there. Then we had a couple little here that we pulled back over. This one went from 43 to 49. So that's how many points? 6. How many do you need? 5. Okay. Then price gets back below the trigger, it rallies up again, and this time it can only give us 2.75. Okay, so that's not going to be enough to take you out to dinner. Alright, so now we have officially covered everything on the board, with the exception, it is my great pleasure to bring to you something you haven't seen. Now, this is the one trade a day. I'm just going to go ahead and show you because it got brought up earlier. And because the one trade a days are good for 24 hours, and because they're still in play as we're talking about them, it's not like the concierge trade alerts that went out last night. These one trade a days, they just went out literally 45 minutes. It used to be 30 minutes, now it's 45 minutes before the show starts. Okay, so soybeans today, 847. You can see 47. All right, 47. Okay. Now, I did switch this to a 15-minute chart just to clarify that it is 15 minutes. Okay. Because the alert went out at 15 minutes. Okay. So, long above 1053, short below 1045. Now that's after this arrow, which is at 1115. So if you're going to be long above 1053, all right, that's going to be right here, okay? You just make it over. You don't quite. Let me move this out of the way. 1053. You actually get up to a swing high of 54.75. So you get 1 3/4 points, okay? And then on the flip side, which said to be short 1045. As you can see, this is 1045. Short 1045. Okay. Now, important prices, important areas, almost always tested. So 1045 down to the swing low here at 1041. That gave you 4 points. 4 points at $50 per point. Okay, so that's $200 per contract move. All right. Now we get back above the trigger and drop a second time. This time we drop all the way down to a swing low of 1023. So 45 minus 23 would be 22. 22 times 50 equals 22 times 50. 22 times 50 equals 1,000. $100 per contract. First drop was good for 200. The second drop was good for 1100. The first move up was probably good for a stop out. Okay? All depends upon where you put your stop loss, and there's certainly no lower spot that you would put your stop loss than right here. That would be the absolute lowest spot that you would put it. Okay? Now, as you become a partner, as you become a concierge trade alert client, as you become a one trade a day client, you will have access to training and workshops and videos that will help you better understand how to trade. See, as long as you're dependent upon someone else, now it doesn't mean someone else can't point you in the direction of a good trade, of an important price and an important area, all right? But when you get to that place in time on the chart, you have to understand how to trade it, right? That's where here, basically, you need to just trail your stop. Look, if you insert your indicator, on the short side, now you see on the long side here, the one that got stopped out, you would be going long into a bearish configuration. You just had a bearish cross on a 15-minute chart. That tells you to expect lower prices. After you've been properly trained, you wouldn't take this trade. Now, am I saying this trade couldn't blow through that and go higher? Sure it could. However, who would want to take the risk of going long into a bearish setup? The whole idea here is about putting on a high probability trade setup. Now here we are trading with the wind at our back. That's what's enabled us to make $1,000 per contract. That's pretty sweet, right? It is where I come from. But I come from simple folks, so. Anyway, I think that we still haven't have we broke the 2082 yet? We have. By a tick? No. We've just got the 2082. Remember, the buy side is 2096 on the S&P. The sell side is 2082. So you've got between now and the close to see how far this thing might possibly be able to drop. Okay. If we go from this swing low right here and we pull it up to the most recent swing high here, we're at the 50% retracement. Next, if we make it down to the 62% retracement, hold your breath, okay? Because if we get below the 62% retracement and we close beneath it with any conviction whatsoever, then you've got a free fall on your hands that could take you all the way down to 2068. In fact, I'll leave you with a radio trade today. We'll see how that pans out. Just because yesterday's and the hundreds before have been profitable doesn't mean this one will be. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. It really isn't. Those aren't just words. Okay, so why don't you consider $20.76 to 2068. There's enough time left in the day, and if the market, now remember, we're at a 50% retracement from here to here. This would be an absolutely perfect place for the market to turn around and rally on us, okay? Now, since we know that, and since we aren't married to the fact that the market, it has to fall, I just know it does. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it would prefer to rally. Okay. Well, then, if it wants to rally, who are we to stand in its way? Let's go from... I have enough space in any of those to make them really nice trades. I mean, there's a couple points to be grabbed, but let's see, 2086. You know, this is just a little 2-point trade, but 2086 to 2088. Radio tree. Okay. There. And I don't know how I'm going to do this. And there. So we got two radio trades. And where's price at when the radio trade goes out? At the time the trade goes out, price is right there. Alright, so tomorrow, help me remember all this now. Got a long trade, 26 to 20, 86 to 88. That's your 2 points for the day. Got a big trade to the downside, 76 to 68. That's an 8-point trade. That'll cover you for a day or two. Okay. And we'll let the market sort itself out. We don't have to be nervous. We don't have to be tense. We can set our trades if we want. I don't recommend leaving trades unmonitored, but there are some that like to set them and forget them. Get up, walk away. It's easier on their nerves. If you're comfortable with that, if you've got your hard stops in place, if your orders reside server side and you're okay with that, then who am I to not be okay with it if you are? Brian, did you miss another one? Just keep practicing, buddy. Takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. Okay. Let me just... Where did that thing go? It's not there. Alright, let me go ahead and get signed out of here because I got so much to do. And I know you don't want to hear about it. Listen, guys, thanks so much for tuning in today. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-host, and guest. To learn more about trading Emini Futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any securities. Always do your own due diligence and consult with the licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.